What's happening, Newt?
Well, Fish, 5 weeks over. Time to get back to football.
We still got football?
Allegedly. There's 101 days till first pitch.
I saw you posted that. It's a long freaking time.
Yes.
Um, had some games this week. I need to check with my brother. He was gonna go. He lives over in Diamond Head, Mississippi. He was gonna go to Biloxi and watch the LSU scrimmage or whatever they had going over there at the Biloxi Shuckers baseball stadium. It's a cool stadium, dude. It's really fun.
It looks cool from the outside. I haven't been in it though.
I've been in it several times. Of course, I was living in Ocean Springs for a while, so just Tuesday night, nothing to do. Let's go to the baseball game.
Ah,
All right. So I had asked Nooch. I see you got this guy here, Frank Wilson, head coach of the LSU football Fighting Tigers, um, interim. Anyway, I had asked Nooch to put a moving truck or a real estate sign or something right there. He does these backdrops for us, but he couldn't find one that fit on such short notice. So here we are.
yeah.
Um, but the point of the moving truck or the for sale sign or whatever, Kelly and Woodward are gone. Let's move on. We already beat that horse to death. Not us necessarily, but the media. It's just been saturated nationally, right down to local. So we're moving on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's over.
one thing I noticed last week, and I think a lot of this was really after we did our podcast, a lot of it was still going on and it was really loud. But the governor finally shut up. I wonder who told him to shut up, how much money they give to the
Yeah.
university
Ah, I don't
or
know
to
if he's
his
glad. I'm
campaign.
glad he finally did because him mouthing off was not a good look for LSU.
Correct. Maybe if they donate to his campaign and they's like, listen, shut up or I'm cutting you off, because he
Yeah.
shut up. Thank goodness. And the thing about that is there's not really anything like if he and I were sitting in a private meeting having a beer, there's honestly nothing that he said that I disagreed with.
Correct.
But you don't say certain things out loud.
Other than him being disappointed that LSU's not going to qualify for the BCS this year.
Yeah, that is sad. Anyway, how long has the
But
BCS been gone? 12 years?
this will be the 13th year of the playoffs.
13? Okay.
Yeah. So
I mean, I
yeah,
see how I
I mean
got it confused.
a lot of what he said, I somewhat agree with. Just these are a lot of these things needed to be said behind closed doors.
Yes,
They're things that needed to
private
happen.
meetings.
Like you don't call out the most commonly used coaching agent publicly.
Uh-huh.
You want a person lording a dog behind closed doors, absolutely. But
Yes. And I
whoever
would agree
LSU,
with you.
yeah, whoever LSU is going to hire, chances are is going to have that guy as an agent, and that's you really don't want to piss him off before you sit at the table to bargain with him.
Yeah.
So
Um,
kind of just stay away from that one.
but somebody got him to shut up
Yeah.
because he has shut up. And maybe he just moved on. Maybe he was busy. Today was election day. And guess what happened today is LSU got a new president.
Yes, they did. And other than knowing he's coming from McNeese and he's from Golden Meadow, I know nothing about
Well, and I mean, how much did you know about President Tate?
him. Actually, not much more other than
Did you know where he was from and where he was coming from?
somewhere on the East Coast, but I don't remember
Yeah,
specific.
I have no idea where he's from. So he's one of us. Woohoo.
Uh, the only reason I even knew about Tate was because there were a lot of people who had some very negative things to say about him before he came, but actually spoke fairly positively of him after once he was here and he served his time. They really didn't say anything bad about his time here. But this guy, other than
I
he's
don't know anything
currently
about him.
president of McNeese, I know nothing about him at all.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe we'll find out. I do know this. He's the fifth person on the committee that Verge Osbury was talking about the other day that's going to kind of lead the coaching search.
Okay.
So he is the fifth person. We also got a new chancellor. I can't remember his name, but he's from somewhere in Alabama.
Yeah, I think
He's he's not associated with the sports programs at all, with the athletic department at all. at
Right.
all. But Roos is. So be it. All right. Speaking of Verge, another thing we learned is the first act of the new LSU president is he named Verge Osbury permanent athletic director as predicted by one Nooch of 2 point conversion with Fish and Nooch. Nooch did call it. He reminded me of it when I sent out a thing on Game Day Tigers, said Verge has been named permanent. And Nooch went and got this thing that I had said the other day. He said something about both of them becoming permanent, this guy and Verge. And I said, that's not happening. He said, well, one of them is. Got me. Got me there. So I'm not going to say anything about this guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't.
I don't know anymore.
I do have one question about the president removing the interim tag today. I was under the impression that the president was announced today,
Mhm.
but doesn't actually take office until January. So how does that? I don't understand how all of this does or doesn't work. I don't. Supposedly he's not technically president until January,
Well,
whatever
he's
date.
already on the committee. I know that. So I
Yeah,
don't know, dude.
just curious. I don't know the backroom dealings of Louisiana politics, and I try to keep my nose out of that.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
The question I had about it is, wasn't Verge Osbury just suspended for a year for Title IX violations?
yeah, yes, he was, and
That's a great look.
had a
Let's
rather
promote it.
public court date over that as well. That he did win his court case. I'll give him that. He won his court case, but it was still a pretty public knowledge thing there. That
Yeah,
I agree. It's not a
not a good
great
look,
look.
dude. My dad and I were eventually, I was in the same business that he was eventually in. And of course, he was in it before I was because I was, quite a bit younger than my dad, as
That's
most
usually
people
how it
are.
works.
Yeah. Um, but we were in the same business for the same company. And eventually, when he had retired and I was there, and I told him, "Oh, you remember this person? They were young when you trained this person." And I'll never forget, he said, "She still works here?" And I said, "Well, yeah, she's actually a trainer now." And he laughed and he said, "Yeah, nothing's changed. If you can't do the job, they'll just promote you out of it."
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's weird that, which I don't really care too much other than the fact that it's a bad look. I mean, he was
It,
just suspended for a year
correct.
for Title
Uh,
IX violations. It's a bad look.
it's a very bad look. Then the other few things I have about it, the one thing that I know Verge Osbury was responsible for as the associate athletic director was scheduling. A lot of it is what LSU fans complained about. They weren't happy with the way the schedule, non-conference scheduling. We only have so much say with conference scheduling, obviously. The never having a week zero, the different the neutral site games and getting away from all the marquee games not being at Tiger Stadium. I mean, we only get to see these schools every so often, and we don't even get to play them at home.
A lot of
Things
that's
like that.
changing by way of the SEC changing.
Correct, but when he was in control of that, that was the one thing that I know he was in control of, and it was probably one of the biggest complaints about LSU football season is
Yeah,
the
you're
way the
right.
schedule
You're
shaped
right.
up.
To
Um,
me, it's a non-factor anymore because we're
and
going to nine
then
SEC games.
also, I mean, it breaks to the old-fashioned good old boy network where it was all about putting your cronies into positions instead of doing what's actually best for the school. And I don't know enough about Verge's ability as an AD to say if that is what this is or not, but just on the surface, that's exactly what this looks like. The governor got his hand-picked president in the same day. A guy who's been here for 20 something years as an associate gets the interim tag immediately removed same day. It looks like good old fashioned the way things used to be in Louisiana.
Yeah. Nooch said he was going to talk about that, but he said like it was in the 80s at LSU. And I'm like, dude, you were six. Shut
Not
up.
the entire 80s.
Okay, you were at the max. You were not a teenager. All
No, I wasn't. I was not a
right.
teenager yet in the 80s.
So what do you know? I was at LSU in the 80s.
Uh,
But
I mean, I wasn't alive for World War II, but I know about it.
yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Um, Something Verge Osbury said, he didn't say that today. He said this Friday, I think it was, when there was a press conference with him and I can't remember the name, man, Blanchard and I can't remember the name. They're on the board.
Yeah, there was a few. There was that Kamosh was there.
Yeah, yeah,
Umberto
Carmouche.
was there.
Yeah. That's so but Burge said basically he's been given autonomy to hire the next coach, number one, and that he's been instructed to go hire the best coach. No, there's no limitation. So that kind of, to me, flew in the face of everything Jeff Landry had said, which we're not going to get deep down that rabbit hole because we already have and everybody has. But the bottom line is, it's told me, okay, so evidently we're not going cheap. But, Newt's brought up a good point. Go ahead.
Well, you see, I wasn't going to bring it up this time, but yeah, if you remember during the 2016 search, they said the best candidate was Ed Ogeron. Yeah, he brought us a title, but I mean, let's be honest, that wasn't the best candidate. I see it.
Anyway,
Uh, but no, you're right. This isn't if we are going to go after the best coach, the best, and mean it when we say that, this is not going to be a cheap hire. In
right.
fact, the big gripe everyone had with Scott Woodward was his buyouts. Well, be ready because that's what's coming again. It may not be quite the same. It may be shorter term, but have you seen the list of just Power Four openings that are out there right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's
Let me
us.
ask you this. If you are, forget the agents, if
Okay.
you're Lane Kiffin, if you're talking about pipe dream, Dan Lanning, if you're Brent Key, Drinkwitz, Clark Lee, whoever it is, if you're even that guy, if you're that guy, and maybe not him, but those others that I mentioned, and I say, I mean, you just mentioned there's several jobs. There's Florida, there's Auburn, there's
It,
Penn State, there's going to be others.
there's Arkansas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Virginia Tech,
Okay, I'm talking
Stanford,
about good
Oklahoma.
schools. I'm talking about good. Okay, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's about to
Oklahoma
be in
State. I'm sorry, you cut me off.
okay.
Oklahoma
They're about to
State.
be in the playoffs,
State,
bro.
state,
But
state,
anyway,
state, state.
we're
Okie
gonna we're
state.
gonna knock them out of the playoffs. But anyway, you got those schools and LSU, and if those schools are talking, which Florida's already thrown out numbers like 13 million over however many years it is. And they weren't talking about, oh, it's incentive laden. No, the contracts are already incentive laden. You know that. This
Yeah,
goes back from when Les Miles won the championship in 2007. Boom, he became the highest paid coach. That was his incentive. He got a raise to become the highest paid coach in the country. And you're not going to get a coach, or especially I said leave the agents out of it, but you damn sure not with the agents. You're not going to get a coach to come to your school when you're saying, okay, listen, we're not going to pay as much as them up front, but maybe if you do this and this and this, then you can make that much. Or you got the school over here saying, we'll guarantee you all this money up front. Where are
that's
you
what
going to go?
that's what it's going to come down to. And you mentioned,
Yes.
and that's just you're talking about just the openings. Then you got to look at a school like Oregon with Dan Lanning. Lanning's going to have options, and Oregon has Phil Knight on speed dial. Oh, so what was it they offered? You call up Phil Knight, and
And it's going to
Oregon's
be
at
like
least
the Bryce
matching. So
Underwood recruitment.
right,
What's
you now
LSU
have to.
offering here? Double it.
Yeah, you have to match what any other suitors plus wherever they are now.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, I know you made fun of some of the names on that list, but you already see it in the landscape. NIL is changing things.
Yeah, it is. You're
There
not
are
wrong.
schools now who have deep pockets and can now compete that
Yeah.
wasn't before. Like we mentioned, Arkansas's on that list.
Arkansas's got money.
Arkansas's got Walmart money.
Yeah, they got money. They got Walmart. They got the
Uh,
chicken.
Yeah, Tyson Chickens at
Tyson Chicken. I couldn't
Walmart.
remember the name of
They got money, and even Oklahoma State. Yeah, T-Bone Pickens is
T
dead.
Boone Pickett. Come on,
His family's not dead.
family
He,
ain't
you know,
dead. Yeah,
he's dead. I mean, these are some big time. There's a lot of big money in some of these schools that they have
Clemson may
their
be
bear on top.
available.
You're very right. Clemson very well could be. I mean,
You don't know. That's why I didn't have a problem with them firing Brian Kelly when some people said, "Oh, we should have waited." Nah, bullshit. After that show, and we're not going to go back to that game, but after that, it was inevitable. Let's get it over with. Let's get in the hunt.
I agree. I mean,
Um,
absolutely. You just now you have to go out and get it. I mean, it's never a good time to fire a coach. It's never opportune. It just never seems to work out where you're the only opening and there's one knockout guy. It never works that way. So,
right.
I mean,
Um,
it's a terrible cycle this year to be looking for a coach, but who knows? Next year could be worse. You don't. There's no way
you
to
know,
know.
you say that, but if you look, and you're not wrong, but if you look at the big picture here, you have Penn State, Florida, Auburn, LSU. That's the top four jobs open.
Yes,
Even nationally, there's consensus among the national media which one of those is the best job available.
it's LSU, hands
It's
down.
LSU. It's LSU because of the past 25 years.
Yeah, and
Um,
really, I would tell you now, you can knock Auburn out of that list. It's LSU, Florida, and Penn State, and
yeah, well, Florida is ahead of
Florida,
Auburn. Auburn is number four in that list for sure.
Florida really and truly is barely hanging on to that
They're
number.
probably number three, even
They
though they have won national championships this millennium. Penn State hasn't, but Penn State carries a lot of prestige.
Yes,
So, but yeah, LSU is the best job of those openings.
yeah,
Um,
hands down.
so something I wanted to talk about, and that's that guy behind us there. So speaking about Penn State, when James Franklin was fired, Penn State's class fell apart. There were decommitments everywhere. On the contrary, when Brian Kelly was fired, LSU was plus one on commitments. Plus one.
Yeah,
That's why, right there.
yeah, Frank.
That's why. That guy
Like
right there. I was telling Nooch earlier, um, listening to Frank's Monday presser, talking about what we're going to be talking about here soon. We have football to talk about. But they talked about the recruiting class and how we've actually not lost any commits. We haven't had anybody what do you call it, opt out of the season.
right.
Haven't had anybody opt out. Penn State, their whole program imploded when Franklin got fired. But Frank said, they talked about his relationship with the players, and they specified one. He's like, "How long have you known Harlem Berry, number one running back in the country in last year's recruiting class?" He said, "Well, he's been recruiting him since he was in eighth grade, and he's a New Orleans kid, Metairie actually, where I'm from, but he." He not only knew Harlem Berry, he said, "Yeah, I went to high school with his dad. And his dad's in a jazz band, and I go see them a lot. And his mom is in the crew of Zulu. They're very intertwined in New Orleans culture. I mean, he knew everything about them.
Yeah,
And that's Frank Wilson.
yeah, it's who he is.
Yeah,
He's like we had mentioned before, he's New Orleans royalty, New
mhm,
Orleans football, high school football royalty.
for sure.
Oh, and he just comes. I didn't watch his presser Monday, but I did watch his presser when they first introduced him as the interim. And man, when you listen to that guy speak, he just sounds so genuine, like
Mhm.
his true love for Louisiana and LSU and the way he spoke about it. And it wasn't just your typical coach speak. I mean, it was legit. I mean, he's a great, genuine guy. So yeah, I could see why recruits absolutely love him. And he has the same background as a lot of those kids.
Yeah.
He grew up in the same area, went
St.
to
Aug.
he went to
Yeah.
St. Aug. He coached at Old Perry Walker. He coached at Edna Carr. So it's a way you kind of have that link, that bond with them whenever you can say that, yeah, man, this the same neighborhood I rode my bike in. And
Mhm.
it's a lot easier to do when you
Well,
actually
look at the
live, you know, the
skins
old
he's got
lady
on the
across the
wall. Look at the skins
yeah,
he's got on the wall, too, man.
Right. And when you pull up in the neighborhood and you actually know the old lady across the street personally and go give her a
Yeah.
hug before you stop by versus somebody else coming and trying to, I mean, he's frank. He's a great guy.
You imagine Lane Kiffin pulling up in the Ninth Ward and Frank Wilson being across the street at a different recruit's house. Frank's
That
gonna
would
get
be,
both them kids.
yeah, that would be interesting.
Now, with that said, there's a couple of things holding the class together. That's one of them for certain. For certain. I think if Frank wasn't elevated, that's why he was the perfect. And I didn't see this at first, but I thought, well, he's got head coaching experience. Okay, I get it. No, that's why he needed to be elevated to interim
Yeah, I'm
because of
shocked he didn't
that.
get it. I said that from the beginning that he's
Yeah,
going to keep the class together as far as
got to keep the
recruiting.
class together, and he's doing it. Um, there's another thing that keeps the class together. And I was telling Nooch this, and apparently I knew something he didn't. Um, so Louisiana is not one of these states, but there are states where you cannot sign high school kids to NIL deals. LSU, Louisiana, is not one of those states. So there is an NIL component where Louisiana schools can pay NIL deals to high school kids. And so these kids, like not a Harlan Berry, let's say a Lamar Brown, for instance. Lamar Brown, he's the number one athlete in America. He's
Sure.
committed to LSU. The battle is between him and LSU and Texas A&M. He was at the game the other night. He hasn't decommitted. Why? He's actually financially bound somewhat to LSU because we're paying him. Now, the way that works is if he does decommit, he has to pay back any money that he has received. I'm sure Texas A&M would stroke the check.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, there is that element of it that doesn't exist in a state like, say, Mississippi, where Lane Kiffin is coaching. He doesn't have that advantage that an LSU coach has. So
Right.
that's another thing that could be keeping this class together. Because, like I said, and I don't even know if Pennsylvania has that or not. I don't have a clue. All I know is their class fell apart and we got another commit. That's what we got.
Yeah.
So, one thing before we get to football, we're about halfway there. Yeah,
Hmm.
a little more than halfway there. One thing before we get to football, and that is Nooch and I have kind of talked off off air, mano a mano about coaches that we'd like to see or whatever. And that topic is up at Game Day Tigers. You can go look at it. It's
Yeah.
there. There's
We'll,
not like
we'll,
a
we'll,
hot board, but there's
no,
discussion.
we'll dive into that later for sure. Later in the season, once we have a little more juice.
Well, what I told Nooch was, here's how I look at it. So National Signing Day is December 3rd this year. Um, there is but one window now for transfers. One. And it's January 2nd, I believe, through the 15th. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That is your transfer window. That being said, though, signing day, December 3rd. If we don't have a coach named by then, it's my opinion that the next LSU coach has a team that's competing for the playoffs or is in the playoffs. That's my contention.
Yeah.
Why
And we'll
else
see
would you
by
wait?
December 3rd, we should know who's in.
Right. So if you don't have a coach by then, they're in the playoffs.
I
The way
take
I
that.
look at it.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I
So if
think
you go
so.
back and look at the previous cycle when LSU hired Brian Kelly, a couple of things to think about then. You're really good with math, right? Now I'm not going to get into the Scott Woodward stuff. But anyway, if couple of things to think about though. Lincoln Riley in November was rumored, November of 2021. Was it 2020? Yeah,
Yeah,
2021.
21.
Was rumored to be coming to LSU 10 years, 100 million. What Brian Kelly signed for?
Right at that.
10
Actually, it
years,
was
100
95.
million. 10 years, 100 million.
Yeah.
95. So tell me Lincoln Riley wasn't considered. That's the deal we were. Of course, Mel Tucker signed a deal with Michigan State for about that. That was the
Yeah,
market then. But the bottom line is Brian Kelly was hired right at the end of November.
yeah.
Um, his team was actually still had a chance at the playoffs, but it was pretty slim chance. But that's my contention. I'm sticking with that. If we don't have a coach by December first, second, third, especially by the third, because that's signing day, uh, our
Yeah. That
guys in the playoffs.
that's going to make things difficult for us because the difference now versus 21 is there's 12 teams in the playoffs instead of only four.
Yeah, it is.
So there's going to be guys on our list who I would assume are at least on our list potentially that may be battling for that 12th spot that like any other year you could just go take. You just go grab him prior to
Maybe,
the prior to playoff expansion is what I mean. Um,
maybe. I mean, some of the ones that I think we're considering are either. I can tell you right now, some of them are definitely playoff contenders, and then some of them I think eliminated themselves this past week. So
yeah, but no, I'm just saying in let's just say I know Clark Lee's a hot name. He's a guy if Vanderbilt's hovering around 12 at the end of the year, that's his alma mater, might get in, might not. Whereas before the expansion at 12, you're definitely not. I mean, you're
well,
obviously
hovering at 12 is not going to do it because you got G5 schools involved too, and you got conference champs tie-ins. Just because you're in the top 12 of the
no,
CFP
but I'm
doesn't mean
saying
you're in.
if you're and actually I'm wrong. The December 3rd for that signing day, that's actually before the conference championship game.
Yeah, it's
So
before the
if
C. That's what I
yeah,
thought.
if you're hovering around 12, you're in the discussion at least. You may not be in,
Yes.
but you're at least in the discussion is what I mean. Whereas
Yeah.
prior to expansion, you're not even in the discussion. You're just not going and would be more available. I
Okay.
would
Yep. Well, and then the transfer portal thing, if we get to there and we still don't have a coach, well, then our coach is in the national championship team. Yeah.
yeah.
He's got to be, or the Super Bowl. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's the only
let's
two
just
big games
say
after that.
I really hope you're right because if we get to that point and we don't have a coach and he's not in the NFL playoffs or the college football championship, then we've screwed up somewhere.
We missed something. Yeah.
Something went
I
wrong.
think we're going to have a coach. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
we're going to have a coach by December 1st. But if we don't, I sure hope it's my guy.
Well,
Anyway,
just
just
saying
to,
it was
it's just to piss off you and
it
low
was
T.
it was in jest. I tell you, I wouldn't be pissed. I'm just not predicting it to happen.
No,
Uh,
I'm not predicting Lane
I
Kiffin either
I,
because
I
everything
say
we're
it in
talking about.
jest,
Why would
but
he leave? Why would he leave Ole Miss right now?
that's why would you?
He's got it made,
Yeah, I mean, the schedule will be basically the same. It's not going to be a big difference in schedule.
and
And I
he's
mean, still,
clearly grown up a lot though. Because you mentioned
yeah.
this earlier. He missed the golden opportunity. Tell him what you told me
Oh
about that.
God, yeah, he did. Look, I mean, Auburn has an opening, and Lane Kiffin's the hot topic, the hot commodity. I can't believe he hasn't tweeted out something about a pine box yet this week.
Yeah,
Like that would have been. I can't believe I thought of it before he did it. He needs to do it.
he's
Somebody,
just clearly grown up a little bit.
not that much, man. Come on,
Yeah, but
it's
he's
still
missing it.
there. You gotta.
You would have really liked it if he had done that. You would have rooted for him to be LSU's coach.
Oh, I'd have loved it if he did that. I mean, even just to get the reactions, because he is still the king at doing things just for a reaction. So
Yeah.
do it. See how both fan bases react to that one.
So, dude, you said we got 101 days till baseball season, but we
Yes,
got
sir.
5 days, 4 days till
It's
LSU plays college football. 5 days. I'm sorry. The reason why 5 days came in, we won't be doing a podcast next week because I will be in Mexico or Honduras. So, peace out. You're on your own. I'm not leaving till Sunday though, so I will be there watching the game Saturday night.
yeah. I'm gonna have to.
Be here at my house watching the game Saturday. I'm not going to Tuscaloosa.
I know how to do like all of this type stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got to wing it. I had to do a solo podcast. You got to do a solo podcast, especially if we
I don't
win,
even know how to freaking record it or put it on YouTube.
Oh shit. Well, I have to give you a tutorial before we leave, but let's talk football. So
Okay.
LSU does have a football game in 4 days. And this is Newt mentioned this. This is the lamest Bama week since like 2000, whenever Sean Alexander ran for 1,027 yards against us.
Yeah, but it wasn't lame leading up to the game like it is.
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. But it is what it is. I'm actually kind of excited about the game.
I
I'm not going to make a prediction, but because we typically don't do that.
no,
So here's what I will say. The CFP hit tonight. Alabama's in the top four. Not that that really matters because it's not a 14 playoff anymore, like you said. But
right.
Alabama is highly thought of. They're one of the best teams in the country. Bottom line, they lost their first game and they haven't lost since, and they played some really good teams.
And they keep
Um,
looking a little better every week, which is
eh,
another thing.
okay, okay. I don't know how much you really watch them, but okay. Um, they damn near lost to Vanderbilt.
Mm,
I mean,
I wouldn't call that damn near. It was close at half, and then Bama just steadily widened the lead the entire second half.
I guess so. It was a game. Anyway,
Yes.
Bama week. They're number four. Here's my takeaways from Bama so far right now. And this is statistical fact, okay? Bama's a number 73 ranked rushing defense in the country. Now, we just played three teams in the top 35. Now, I said we're not going to spend too much time talking about Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward being fired, but I am going to throw Joe Brady in there because Joe Brady just refused to run the damn ball. Okay. I don't know why. We talked about it last week
I mean, Joe
where
Sloan.
I'm sorry, not Joe Brady. He didn't run the ball really either, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Joe Sloan uh, just wouldn't run the damn ball. And here's how I know what I'm talking about here because against those three top 35 rush defenses, one of them a top 20 rush defense, LSU averaged 6 yards a carry. We just didn't hand the ball off very often.
No,
I mean, we had a great average, just didn't hand the ball off. And now we got Alabama. They're not a very good rush defense. And that guy is the running back coordinator for LSU. He's a running back coach. He's also the interim head coach. And he has said several times since being elevated to interim head coach, we need to focus on running the ball. We need to basically throwing Joe Sloan under the bus. I mean, he
yeah,
literally did. He said we got away from it too early here and there and blah blah blah. And he's right. He's right. We talked about it last week. Harlan Berry was averaging 7 yards a carry. No, 8 yards a carry
yeah, he
last
said
week
it.
in the first half on 7 carries, and he ran the ball one more time in the entire game. It was the first play of the second half. That's ridiculous. And
It's
I don't think Frank's going to do that.
no, I don't either. I'm pretty sure he's going to run. He's actually going to make a concerted effort to run. He's hinted that Michael Van Buren will have packages here and there, which sounds to me like I don't know if not quite the same, but like a Ryan Perrilloux 2007 type, where you put him in because he's different. He just is different. He gives you a different look. He's got a different arm, and he can move running the ball a little bit better. So I think we'll see him. I think we're going to see a real effort at bringing back that LSU identity of being able to run the football. And I'm excited because, hey, you know what happens a lot of times when you have an interim? Team comes out and plays like their hair's on fire.
Shit, Florida almost beat Georgia this past week.
That's
Should
what I'm
should
saying.
have.
Sometimes that change, just the change. Now, yeah, I've seen it go the other way. I've seen teams melt down as well with the interim, but I don't know the reception that Frank seems to be getting from all of the players and fans. I don't see a meltdown coming. I see more of that. They're just going to play. They may play their best game of the year this week, right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just want to. That's what I'm not saying I want him to. Of course, I want him to go beat Alabama. But I'm not saying I'm thinking that's going to happen. But I do want to see him go play a complete game. I want to see him hustle. I want to see him play up to their potential.
yeah, like you said it yourself right there. Hustle. I want to see the fire. The fire has been gone. I want to see the fire. If you know what, even if Alabama kicks our teeth in, if we're still out there playing like the game still matters, like I can remember back however long ago Kevin Mawai played, chasing down somebody who had intercepted a pass. It's the fourth quarter in a blowout, and he's still out there. Like, man, if I see that effort, I'll be not okay with the loss, but I'll be pleasantly pleased because
Yeah,
we haven't
because we
seen that.
haven't been seeing that.
We've seen way too much loafing. You've seen hell. I'll call a couple of them out. Number seven
Harold Perkins.
looked like he did not give a shit in that
Yeah.
A&M game. Really,
One thing I'd like to see against Alabama is number 40. I hope he's
yeah. I'd like to
I
see
hope
him
he's
back
on the
on the
field.
field.
I don't know that he's going to be, but I hope he is.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be
I
nice.
think we miss him more than we thought we would, maybe. But here's the other thing about the LSU Alabama game, and we got a few minutes left, and that's about
Sure.
it. Um, just having watched Alabama a little bit, LSU has lost 3 games to real running quarterbacks. Like their forte was running the ball and
Right.
escapability and ability to scramble. Now, Simmons, Alabama's quarterback, who's been fantastic, he's been absolutely fantastic since the Florida State game, in which he looked like a deer in the headlights. But since then, he's been great. He can run. Nuge kind of said, "Well, he can run." Okay, yeah, he can run, but he's more like Joe Burrow could run.
Right.
It wasn't his first option, but he could if he needed to. Um, I think it kind of plays in our favor a little bit that we're not chasing a Diego Pavia or a Marcel
Hmm.
Reed or
Yeah.
Winodad Chambliss around this weekend because that has been proven over the past couple of years to be the Achilles heel of a Blake Baker defense.
Right.
And so I think that LSU has proven this year, other than those 3 games, to be super solid defensively. The defensive backs that's the best unit. I'll go ahead and say the DBs. I told Nooch earlier the cornerbacks, but hell, Halsey's he's one of the top two or
Yeah.
three players on the team,
Oh, absolutely. And Cooley's been playing
and
well too.
Cooley's
He
doing
has his
well.
moments, but he's doing well.
But Mansour Delane is numero uno.
Yeah.
And then you got PJ and your boy DJ Pickett.
They pick it.
You go ahead, throw on us. And you don't have somebody that you have to put a spy on. So Blake, dial it up. Let's go.
Get him.
And then LSU run the ball, work some clock. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'm, I'm excited for the game. I mean, not as excited as I typically am, but Bama week, like we said, it is kind of lame. More really curious. I'll be going into this game with more questions than we typically do going into
Sure.
Bama weeks. So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, y'all come join us over at Game Day Tigers. All kind of activity over there. Uh, Eventually, we're going to throw up a coaching hot board of some sort, but for now, let's just enjoy football season. We got a third of the season to go.
Oh,
Y'all come join us. Chat room will be hopping Saturday night. Go
yes, sir.
Tigers.
Go Tigers.
All right.